It's going to be. And here we go. We're in the match. Clown, unfortunately, I don't know where he is now, traveling throughout the world, but he's not on camera, unfortunately. I think you guys, at least luckily, were able to see him in his first match of the day, and now you recognize it's not because he doesn't want to be on camera, it's because he is in a car.
Interesting. I can't believe that Sosa is playing immediately after just losing. Or sorry, not Sosa, a Clown.
Well, yeah, we had we had the numbers backwards on the board there. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, but luckily for me, I'm not playing. So
yeah. Okay, so
here we go. Our first bait of the day, Juicy, and it's from the best, arguably the best bait player in the world. So that's at least exciting.
Yep, log baits, high pressure. He does have the cannon, and I don't think this deck does have a big spell.
No,
so
usually not.
It'll be interesting to see if he's able to break through with that spam. Clown gonna need some really good defense to make this work.
Yeah, these decks can be really, really frustrating to play against. Just relentless pressure. And while defensively you might feel that it doesn't stack up, that Dart Goblin is everywhere. And the cycle on this deck, even without a champion, is relentless. So, and you're going to see one of the best players to ever do it with this deck run it. So exciting to see here, especially because, Bait was one of the other archetypes we mentioned at the top of the show that we have not seen yet.
Hog inbound, cannon back in cycle. Prince is going to help support as well. I'm assuming Clown's last card is an Earthquake. We'll see if he ever will use that on the offense. Gang going to try and keep the Princess alive. A boss man ability, try and get his Princess Tower involved in the defense as well. Evo Valk played on offense. Usually you'd rather see that play on defense, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it worked out well because now the Boss Bandit is providing even more pressure, taking out almost the entire Gob gang while the Hog gets a hit. And there you go. Clown going to be taking the damage lead to start this match off. Solid defense here. Once again, though, Ryley does need to find a way to break through. And looks like Clown is even ready for the Princess of the Bridge. Lost it down it as well. I think this is a wild version of Hog Earthquake. I think I kind of like it. I mean, he doesn't have the Firecracker, which is a little weird, but the Evil Witch seems to be able to provide a decent amount of value in this matchup, mainly just because Ryley doesn't have the big spell. There you go. Witch going to drop on defense right here. Log onto the Goblin Barrel, and he's using his skeletons to try and keep the Evil Witch alive for as long as possible. But I really like the Princess from Ryley. Ryley knows how to play the Princess. He knows how to keep it alive, playing it very low on his side of the map or really high from our perspective. Makes the Log can't take that out. And Evil Barrel, mitigated quite well. He needs to play something on the right side, though. He has to drop a cannon. Boss Bandit costing a lot of elixir here. This might be Ryley's turn to maybe make something happen. Here comes the Dark Gob. It doesn't lock on. Witch is tanking. Goblin Barrel inbound. Log gonna get some nice damage, but here comes the Evil Valk plus Wallbreaker to the right-hand side. Skelly gonna try and kite back. Cannon drop it down, but the double Wallbreaker connection. We'll still have 13 seconds until triple elixir, and Clown desperately needs that right now. Princess does not lock onto tower. Log comes through, but now what about for the barrel? He has skeletons and a cannon, but the Gombro's getting damage, and Ryley's very happy with his damage lead. Clown has only 60 seconds of triple elixir to somehow, someway, make a comeback here. With the Boss Man, with the Evil Witch, maybe, just maybe it's possible. But look, Ryley is already setting up his Valkyrie, trying to get the Evo in cycle, and then applying pressure when the Log is not ready to rumble. Wow, and the Goblins are doing so much damage. Clown trying to make an offensive push and take some damage to deal some damage, but it ain't working.
Log out to catch that Princess. Earthquake in. Try to break through. Hog will get a hit. Does. And Witch on tower, but...
Wait a second. Oh, but the Evil Valken cycle.
Yeah. Oh, the freeze.
Wait, the Hog? 15 seconds left, but the Hog doesn't get the second hit. And there's another barrel.
Yep. And that's going to do it. No Log in cycle. There's the Log late. Gets the front two. Hog goes in. And Ryley able to do it against... I'll say a medium matchup, right? Just having the one Log to deal with stuff, not having swarm units to cover the barrels in any other way. maybe not the best situation for Clown to be in, but still.
We're hopping to game 2. Ryley versus Clown. Ryley talking away here, trying to figure out, or probably just discussing, maybe even with his coach, about the strategy here. Looks like Clown does have the Bowler. Bowler is gonna be a really good card to deal with the Gob Drill in this situation.
Bowler plus Snowball plus Giant, so looking like GY, huh?
Yep. Giant Graveyard and the
What do you
Mighty
think
Miner.
about Giant Graveyard? It was pretty popular for a minute there, maybe like what, a few weeks ago, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, but seems pretty quiet now. Viability, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely viable, but it is one of those decks where it's very matchup dependent, and I don't know. I don't mind it from Clown. I think that he's gonna have to make something happen here, and if you gotta let luck be the deciding factor of whether you get a good matchup or not bad. The bad thing for him might be that I'm not in love with this matchup for him, mainly because the Mighty Miner, great counter to the Giants. The only way to counter it would be the Evo Snowball whenever it's in cycle, and the other problem is that Ryley's Evo Snowball can be used to knock back his push to allow his tower to lock on to the Graveyard Skeletons.
Yeah, that's the point I was waiting for you to get to. Is we've seen that a lot over the years of body blocking at the bridge.
Right.
Well, the Evo Snowball has changed that conversation by allowing your opponent to actually get across the bridge and then get it all soaked up in that snowball, and then it makes that graveyard not only easier to clean up, but it also almost makes it wasted elixir for your opponent, and then you deal with the push. Everything's out of sorts. We always talk about timing and sequencing with graveyard decks, and that is a great way to kind of deal with it. So we'll see how that plays as this game goes on. Arrows to catch the Bomber plus Fire Spirit. Goblin does get a stab on the tower. Night Witch has been out of position this entire game, so we'll see when Clown can actually get that Night Witch behind a Giant, but as of right now she's been having to use to clean up drills and soak up Fire Spirits.
Evo Snowball on offense here is going to allow the Goblins to connect, but Clown has kind of been waiting for this moment. Now he's going to go with the Graveyard, and he's going to drop his Evo Snowball on top of the Mighty Miner to allow his Giant to tank for a little bit longer. But it seems like Ryley's ready for this. He has the poison for the Graveyard.
Wow.
Maybe Clown can stack him enough units to make this work.
This is a pretty scary push. The bomb does some decent work, but that is a very, very healthy bowler behind. It is on tower. It does not activate King Tower. Ryley misses the spot there. Guards behind getting tanked for. Arrows to come in to help clean it up. While this isn't going to be game over, this is a great offensive send for Clown. 15-52 against 22-26. Ryley right back on offense. Drill goes into the left-hand side.
Bowler is here. It does pick up the Goblin hit. Ryley with the energy drink mid-game, trying to
I was just going to say,
get a little extra, oomph to finish out this match.
And honestly, still one of my favorite evolutions in the game, even though I don't use her a lot. The idea behind it is pretty brilliant, and when you see a great player use it to snipe those units off the middle of the board, really, really impactful as well. So Evo Muskie getting her laurels right now as that Evo Snowball comes in. Bowler up high to clean up, as you talked about throughout this entire matchup, Juicy. Now we get a Miner to switch lanes. Guards right behind. Night Witch going to do a pretty good job with the Snowball there, so nice defense here for Clown. 1760 to 1498. Bomber comes out to meet the Giant plus Night Witch at the bridge.
Fire Spirit cleans up pretty well, and the Graveyard is down. Poison on the Graveyard. Guards in the Giant. Night Witch bats are a little bit of a threat, but Ryley doing a great job of hiding them away to give the tower time to lock on and take them out.
That's right. No bat hits in 1162. Fire Spirit almost sneaks through to tower. 1680 to 1162. Mighty Miner cycled in the back for Ryley towards his weaker tower as another drill comes down. And a pre-poison. That's a great pre-poison. Ryley recognizes that the Night Witch is out of play. The Giant's down the left-hand side. No Graveyard's going to come in. Doesn't have to worry about the Graveyard poison, so he just uses it offensively, and now he should be back to it defensively if he needs it.
Free Evo Snowball hits the Night Witch, allowing the Goblin to lock on the tower. Musketeer to try and prevent. Giant is the threat left-hand side, ignoring the Tesla. Mighty Miner dropping. There's only 10 seconds left. Evo Snowball
that Giant
clears the way for the Giant to get even more damage. And with 5 seconds left, Ryley's shaking his head because he knows his tower's dropping. Clown picking game number 2.
Maybe give him the edge, but excuse me, not give him the edge, but make it so it wasn't just a horrible matchup.
Yeah, great stuff, great stuff. And here we are hopping into our, I believe this is our 3rd game, despite the graphic on the right-hand side. And we got Ryley with the Hog Earthquake, or maybe Roll Hog's Earthquake. Clown using the drill this time.
A lot more E-Spirit being used right now, Juicy. Is that just because of kind of how popular Witch is and Bats?
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it on the head there. I think that it makes a lot of sense to use Electro Spirit more often, especially if you aren't going to be using the Evo Ice Spirit. All the time, the E-Spirit can also pair well with the Log and even Barbarian Barrel to take stuff out like Firecracker, you know, even help out more versus like Musketeers and other glass cannons.
So the first time we're seeing, oh my gosh, what is her name?
Berserker.
The Berserker.
Yeah.
I was like, where it's escaped me. I actually really liked the idea of the Berserker when she came into the game, and I think that she's still trying to figure out her place in Clash Royale, but definitely a really, really fun, high DPS card that I would love to see used just a little bit more, but I think she's still, like I said, there's still something that needs to be tweaked there. I don't know what it is. But just good job against the Evo Skellies and the E-Spirit, and gets on towers. So, you know what? Maybe I spoke too soon. Great stuff there from the Berserker.
Yeah, even Ryley is a little bit confused how these Evo Skeletons cannot clutch up the 1v1 versus her. You know, Clown up a lot of damage here, but Ryley is up a lot of elixir here, so I'm able to make a counter push for sure. There it is. Big hits, big 2 hog hits here. And now Ryley converting that elixir advantage to a damage lead.
So Clown, Ryley both resetting back to 10. Hog's going to come in right now. There's the Tesla up high to not give any EQ value. Plays the Berserker on top of it just to keep the Evo Tesla alive a little bit longer. I don't hate that play, but there we go. I was going to say you have to do something to protect it now, and now that Boss Bandit is just pulling out so much elixir.
Yep. Berserker does a decent job, though.
Yeah.
And even takes to the Hog. But the big annoying thing here, as you guys have probably already realized watching, I mean, this Firecracker has been staying alive for a long time. That's another reason why Log is so much more consistent as a card compared to the Barbarian Barrel. It has a lot further range. Barbarrel has a hard time dealing with these Firecrackers when they're deep onto Ryley's side of the map.
Ryley getting a nice King Tower activation there with the Evo Bomber. E-Spirit to soak up that first Boss Bandit dash. Now we see that Tesla coming out late. Exactly kind of what you had talked about before. Use the drill first to get the Tesla down second. Doesn't really matter, though, as Ryley still gets a hit on through to tower. Berserker's been doing a really good job doing a lot of defensive cleanup here, but, you know, now we're getting into spot that's just not quite enough. Now we're getting out-cycled, has to let the Hog get on through because he can't play anything to get shot by that Firecracker. 903, 2265, Ryley pulling away.
Yeah, it's just so difficult to defend. The Boss Bandit, the Hog Rider, especially without the Log. The Earthquake drops from the Tesla. Berserker comes down, but it's not enough to stop this Hog hit. And then the Firecracker immediately. This is what I'm talking about, what I mean.
Yeah.
Where sometimes the Firecracker does more damage than a Hog Rider in these Hog EQ decks, because a lot of the time the Firecracker just is so difficult to stop compared to the Hog.